Today on Too Many Project Garage, we're going to work on my sister's Eddie Bauer edition Ford Explorer. That's an early mid-2000s. I don't know exactly the year, but it needs a little bit of work. The engine has a few sensors out, and the third brake light doesn't work. And the problem with the third brake light not working, you'd think, oh, well, it's an easy thing. Just buy a new brake light from a salvage yard, throw it in there. Well, unfortunately, it is actually very hard to find these for a reasonable price. I think they're going for like $300, $400, and as of right now, we're not paying that. So that's a crazy amount for the third brake light. She's been pulled over multiple times for the third brake light being out. So what we're gonna do is take this light out. We're going to gut out the neon bulb that's in here with the ballast, and then directly wire in an LED strip, 12 volts, that you can buy like on Amazon or whatever, and it should be theoretically a lot better, probably brighter than the original neon bulb, and gonna last longer, and it's easier to fix. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, looks like we need to take off this piece here to get to the third brake light. It's right there. Looks like it's already been broken right here. So I just need to pop out these little plugs, just enough I can get enough room to pull this down and then get to the back where that third brake light is. All right, I pulled down this piece here. Luckily it's already broken, so it makes it a little easier. But check this out. Got this danger hazardous voltage there. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this out so we can get to the back of it, and we'll see what it looks like. I went ahead and took out the screws, the two screws, unplugged this. This is probably 12 volts, I'm guessing. We'll test it here in a little bit. And then it looks like there's a nut here, and nut here, and then I should be able to push that light out of there. All right, guys, I got this off. I've got the 9mm bolts off there as well. And now what I gotta do is unplug this ballast. Let me go ahead and do that. There's one. Okay, so this is gonna go bye-bye, but we're gonna reuse this connector, the LED bulb. Now what I gotta do is lower this down, like this, pop this open, and then we gotta drill out these rivets. There's a bunch of them, and then we can pull out the surround so we can get the bulb out, or the third brake light out. All right, we got it out. Kind of pain in the neck to get those rivets out, but we got them out. Now we got to remove this third brake light from this. It's stuck in this little area here, so I got to kind of pry it out with a screwdriver. I'll get that out here in a moment. All right, I got the piece off. It's over there on top of the trash can, and now I'm working on cleaning this off because it is quite dirty from all the years of, you know, just nastiness. And then we're going to throw it in the oven at 200 degrees Fahrenheit and see if we can get it apart. All right, we heated it up to 200 degrees for about 40 minutes. I was able to peel this apart. We got the little neon bulb out, which is apparently no longer good. And here's my kitty. Say hi, Bill. See his name, Bill. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I've ordered some LED strips, and we're going to basically put the LED strips in place of where the bulb was, and then glue it back together and install it in the car. Easy as that. All right, it's the next day, and we've got I actually had to buy a rivet gun because I didn't have one. I thought I did, but apparently didn't. And we've got the parts here. I also picked up some LEDs. Came with 4 of the 45 centimeter or 18 inches versions, and honestly, it fits in there pretty much perfectly. It goes down pretty much the whole length, so that should look really good. And it's weather resistant. It already has a weather resistant like coating on it because it's meant to be underglow for like a car, but we're not doing that. We're putting it in here. Also has you know, some adhesive as well, so we're going to adhesive that down. And then I have to, this doesn't bend, this part right here, it's like a hard plastic, so I have to coil it around and go through the hole. Then what I'm going to do is put everything back together with RTV, and then once that's dried, sealed up, then we'll be able to install it back in the car. So let's go ahead and get this put down, stuck down, and then get that attached as well. All right, it's stuck down really nicely with that double-sided tape. Just peeled it off, as you can see, and then stuck it down real nicely. And I actually have it, it's supposed to go in the car kind of like this, and or like this, and then this goes on top. I forget which orientation. Maybe just, I think it goes around like this, like so. Actually the other way. Like so. I forget exactly which way it goes, but it should be plenty bright and look really good. And as you can compare it to the old, you know, neon bulb, which is kind of cool. I bet this looked really cool back in the day, since it's like a constant light, you know, versus like individual LEDs. But, you know, not really practical in today's world. This uses a lot more electricity. It's more prone to breaking in the long term. This should last a really long time, and I'm very excited to get it put back together. Alright, now first things first, I've got this plug off the ballast. I'm going to wire it up to the LED, and we're going to plug it in just to make sure it 100% works. And say hello to my little doggy. This is Annabelle. She's 13. She's an old lady. And then my other doggy over here, Lilu. She's only 3. She's a little baby. So I realized I made a boo-boo. I soldered this on, not realizing that I'm going to have to run it through and then solder it on. So that's kind of disappointing. Good job, Josh. But we could still test it, and then I can always redo this wiring after the fact. I'll probably just cut it in the middle here, and then put maybe some inline bullet connectors in, so that way I can, well, maybe not, actually. Changed my mind. But yes, let's test it out. Alright guys, the brake lights are on. As you can see, you can already see in the daylight, but they're running. So let's go ahead and plug this in and see if this works. And look at that, brake light is on. In the daytime it's not super bright, but I mean, as you can see, even those aren't super bright, but you can definitely tell it's lit up versus before. Kind of makes me want to put a second light bulb in there, but honestly I think it's fine. Here, let's take off this. Yep, we got light. Nice. Put that back on, and I've got to reseal it, but it is lit up. So I wasn't super pleased with how bright those lights were, so I went ahead and put a second row of LEDs in. I have 4, so I might as well. And then I'm going to wire these 2 together like so, and then run that through the car, and then boom, we'll be good to go. We'll have to solder this plug on, you know, after the fact, because I didn't realize, you know, it was going to be the way it was going to be. So now that I got both the lights in and I know that they work, I'm going to go ahead and use this 90-minute gasket maker and run it around the outside just to get it glued, and then seal those holes as well. And then, yeah, it'll be basically whole once again. I made a bit of a mess because I had to scrape out all the old nasty adhesive out of the thing, so that way I could actually squeeze them back together. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and then wait for the RTV that I used, oops, there goes that, to set up, and then I'll be able to hopefully install it in the car. I didn't have any clamps, so I just used some zip ties, and after about 90 minutes, since that's 90-minute gasket maker, this should be set up enough that I can go ahead and start putting everything back in the vehicle. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but we're getting there. Alright guys, we got her installed. I just used this cheap rivet gun. Came with rivets and everything to rivet. There's one rivet here, 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 and here. And as you can see, lights up pretty well. Very, very nice. They seem to be about the same brightness, at least in person. On camera, I don't know, but it's definitely working versus it wasn't working at all before. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Successful repair. Installing LEDs. I just have to put the last of the plastic pieces back up right there, and then it'll be all done. Success. And just like that, it's all done. Got that third brake light. Look at that. Pretty snazzy. I think it'll be pretty dang useful for them. They won't have to worry about getting pulled over, and that hopefully should last a really long time. And it doesn't even look that bad, actually. It's kind of cool. It's not as perfect as, say, a straight, you know, across, but still looks really good, so no complaints. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I'll talk to you guys next time on Too Many Projects Garage.